TGIF, everyone. Happy Friday evening to you. It's time for the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. Thankfully, my cold's starting to get a little bit better. We'll see how much I cough during this video. Hopefully a minimal amount of times for your sake. Thanks to everyone for their patience with my hacking and coughing and lousy voice here on Weather for Weather Geeks this week, as well as on 21 News. It's been a real struggle to talk. I've got this persistent little tickle in my throat. All right, we've remarked during high school football season how quiet the weather has been on Fridays. Today, a big change, but look at all the quiet Fridays we've had going back to the start of June. Not a drop of rain in June on a Friday. In July, we had a couple of days with some modest amounts. August was very quiet with just one day recording measurable precipitation, 0 in all of September, and only 0.03 during Fridays in October. And of course, the first Friday of November was also quiet last week. But today, definitely a big change up because it has been raining since, pardon me, a few hours before daybreak this morning. These are actual rain gauges across the area. A couple of bad readings here, obviously, Orwell and over in Slippery Rock, but 2.5 inches up on the roof here in downtown Youngstown at WFMJ, 3.08 in Latonia, 2.78, closer to Glenmore, Calcutta, closer to the East Liverpool area, and amounts as expected, a little bit lower the farther north and west you are. Mesopotamia 1.3, Newton Falls 1.41. At the Youngstown Warren Airport, as of the issuance of the climate report at about 5:20, we were right around 2 inches. Now, we picked up more since then. And so it's in the bag that we're going to see at least the fourth wettest day, November day, on record, and probably the third. Whether we make the bigger jump up into second place, it remains to be seen. We'll see how the rainfall rates do over the next couple of hours before this rain finally ends. But at the very least, we're in the top 5 pretty easily, and probably into the top 3 in terms of wettest November days on record for our area. As of 7:10, the heaviest of the rain shifting east of I-79, but it's still raining lightly in just about all of eastern Ohio and the rest of western PA. This is, of course, what's left of Nicole, which made landfall as a hurricane. Let's see, that was, Wednesday night in eastern Florida. And the remnant low from this system is a couple of hours to our east. Dry slot working north. We thought for a time this dry slot might try to work in close to our area, but the track shifted just a little bit farther to the east, and so no chance of a dry slot around here. Again, thank goodness this was not a snowstorm. We'd be fretting over tracking that dry slot because it would have had a pretty big impact on our totals. Rain totals today, snow totals in a snowstorm situation. Cold fronts heading our way, of course. 60 as of the 7 o'clock hour, but at this time tomorrow night it'll be in the 30s. It's in the 30s this evening in Chicago and Milwaukee, and 20s in Dubuque, Iowa. Big change for the upcoming weekend. We've continued to increase our precipitation chances in the forecast for Saturday. The day starts with a little sun, but the clouds are going to win out very quickly. And by the afternoon, this little fast-moving weather disturbance, kind of an impulse in the flow here. It's weak, it's not a big deal, but it's just going to make for kind of a gloomy second half of the day. I think there's going to be some wet snowflakes mixed with raindrops as early as mid-afternoon, maybe 1, 2, 3 o'clock. And that threat for a few snowflakes will continue up through about 6 or 7, might try to drizzle for a time then in the evening, and then as our cold front rolls through, a pretty good lake effect setup for a modest little event later Saturday night into Sunday. Don't think this is a big deal, but in some of our northern communities, there may be enough to cover the ground. A few flurries will try to linger, especially in the north, for the rest of the day on Sunday. Monday looks like a benign day with a mix of sun and clouds, just cold temperatures. I mentioned this last evening, but up in the heart of the snow belt, parts of Geauga County, and certainly in some of the downwind of Lake Erie areas of northwestern PA and southwestern New York, a few inches will be possible. In our TV viewing area, maybe enough to cover some surfaces, including the ground in some spots, mainly in areas north of I-80. No big deal. I don't think impacts are going to be that high, but maybe a few untreated surfaces in these northern communities will be a little bit slick Sunday morning. All right, so weekend temperatures struggling. This 44 tomorrow is probably a midday high, with temperatures falling once the precipitation pushes it. Once it starts raining, it'll probably drop from 44 to 38 in the matter of an hour or two. So just not very nice second half of the day on Saturday. And Sunday, if you're watching from Columbiana County, especially southern Columbiana County, you probably won't see many snowflakes beyond maybe a few flurries in the morning. The rest of the day, just ho-hum, but the flurries can linger for a lot of the afternoon up into the Warren area, over towards Sharon, and especially off to the north, towards Greenville and Kinsman and Gustavus, places like that. Temperatures, I should say, over the next 10 days, each and every day, well below the average. And we're still at the time of the year that our 30-year averages, are falling quickly. So we go from an average high of 52 tomorrow to, at the end of this 10-day period, our 30-year average is 47. So if we're 7 degrees below average 10 days from now, that doesn't sound like a big number, but that means highs probably near 40. I think we'll have a lot of days with highs in the upper 30s to around 40 over the next 10 days. And as I've opined about on Weather for Weather Geeks over the last couple of days, I think this cold pattern will stick around through roughly Thanksgiving, give or take a couple of days. And I am seeing some pretty good signals at the very end of November, and probably the first handful of days, at least, of December, will be quite a bit milder than this next 10-day stretch that lies in front of us. So this isn't going to last forever. We're not clicking into midwinter for the next 3 months or anything like that. But certainly the next 10 days will be well below the average for the middle of November. Thank you for watching tonight and all week long. Hope you and yours have a great Friday night and a great weekend. I'll see you back here for the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video on Monday. And don't forget my annual winter forecast 6 days away. It's coming your way on Thursday.